Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to talk about today is to continue to chomp through all the Senate testimony that we heard today from the senators themselves, because they were back on their gun control finest. Cory Booker is the focus today, because not the Cory Booker last week that was like, what? Did hell just freeze over? No. This is Cory Booker of old. We're back to full gun control. This is quite a turn. Everything will be linked in the description box below. And please like that video, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And leave a comment down there to tell me if you noticed the change from last week as well. All right, my brothers and sisters, this is coming from the assault weapons ban debate right before they got stuffed, just like they knew they were going to get stuffed in order to make a marketing push. Trust me, that's coming pretty soon as well. We got a lot on the burner, but let's get to the Cory of old. This is the original Cory Booker, not the Cory Booker from last week when he was saying common sense about focusing on problem people and the criminals and all that. No. Now we're back to all the bad stuff. So check this out. Let's get going.
It is astonishing to me that the number one killer, the number one threat, the number one issue facing our children in America is death by gun violence. This is a purview of the federal government, as is written by our Constitution. And the Second Amendment, like the First Amendment, is not absolute. You can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. There are limitations on our fundamental rights. Don't take my word for it. Take the Supreme Court of the United States. A conservative court in the Heller decision made it very clear that government can take steps, reasonable steps, to protect our nation.
All right, first of all, he leads off with an abject lie. The leading cause of gun violence in children, or leading cause of death in children in the United States is not gun violence, as he's calling it. And again, gun violence in quotes. That's a lie. That's a manipulation. It's teenagers, 17, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. That's the number one cause. Children 15 and under is almost negligible. So he's lying there. But anyway, bypassing that, then he goes straight to the Constitution, which is a little bit rich. And my personal favorite thing that Democrats seem to be doing recently around gun control is referencing to the Heller decision as a reason for why the government can limit your right to own a gun. The only problem is the entire Heller decision was given down because D.C. said you can't own a gun in your own home. It was a slap in the face against gun control. And in the Heller decision, Scalia actually cited the Miller case that said common use prevents the banning of things like AR-15s, because if it's common use, it is not a militia isolated item. That is literally what the Heller decision says, but for some reason, Cory forgot that part. But that's just the beginning. We've got 4 clips, including a marketing pitch at the end you guys are going to love. But let's jump right to the second one, because like I said, this is the Cory of old that we all know. Let's get it.
That was just objected to. Safe storage of weapons. This is not an infringement of someone's right to own a gun. Safe storage of weapons. This is not taking away someone's gun. Safe storage of weapons. This is not a violation of someone's fundamental rights. What it is a reasonable step to protect children.
I love this one, because this one's another manipulation. They're saying that safe storage, which is called Ethan's Law, which is why we did a video on it yesterday. Ethan's Law is a safe storage law. So therefore, because it's a safe storage law, it's not infringing upon your Second Amendment rights at all. The only thing that they're not going to tell you, and it's a pretty important distinction, they aren't telling you that the only way possible that they can have a safe storage law like that with enforcement, because what's the point of having the law if you can't enforce it? The only way they can do that is with a national registry. That's it. Mike Lee has a big point we're going to cover as well, refuting that. You cannot do a safe storage law without a registry, which is a violation of the Second Amendment, which is a violation of constitutional law, which is a violation of existing federal law. But they're not talking about that. They're just talking about safe storage. You can keep your guns. That's not the point at hand. But that's what they want to do. This is a big marketing push, and that's what we're going to debunk right now. So that was number 2 of Cory Booker of old. Now let's get to number 3, because this is where it gets real personal, because it turns out that if you don't do anything, you're complicit. It's all your fault. Don't believe me? Listen to Cory.
And I'm sorry, inaction is complicity in this violence. If you object to this, what's your idea to protect our children? If you object to this, what is your idea to stop so many kids, so many Americans from dying? Tell me what it is. Because Martin Luther King said it plain in another point in American history, in another crisis. He said what we will have to repent for as a nation is not just the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people, but the appalling silence and inaction of the good people. And so I know this body. I know the good, hardworking, dedicated Americans who serve here. But the inaction is appalling. The inaction is complicity.
Inaction is complicity, which means it's your fault. He just said it on the floor of the Senate. Everything that's bad that has anything to do with guns, if you aren't willing to ban them and take them away and mandate all these infringements, it's your fault. Inaction is complicity. That sounds something similar to like, oh, I don't know, silence is violence? Kind of like that. This is a tact that the left is taking. With speech, silence is violence. With Second Amendment, inaction is complicity. Very simple, very catchy. Works great for slogans and gun control campaigns, doesn't it? But you just said that everyone who doesn't agree with you is complicit in every bad thing that happens with a firearm in the United States. That's a real good way to start a conversation. But anyway, let's get to the last part, because after all, this is a big marketing push. This entire ploy put forward by Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin was about marketing for the gun lobby, or the gun control lobby, to have marketing and funding points to get more money out of people. But check this out. Here's the last one, and this, if this is not marketing, I don't know what is.
And so I am disappointed to sit here and witness an objection. But I am relentless. We must be undeterred, because change is not always easy. But in this case, we as a country, with thousands of our children dying every year, must stay determined to make the change necessary for us to protect the people of this great republic.
Man, fundraising must really be down in the gun control lobby right now, because legitimately, that had no place at all for the senators. That was speaking directly to the gun control advocates who are going to feel a loss on this. That's exactly what they were doing. Now, granted, the Democrats were utilizing their hope and their passion in order to get momentum for this to happen, for it to absolutely fail on purpose, so they could do this speech. But that's not important, because after all, the ends justify the means, because we got to get some gun control somehow. And even if we have to say that the people who oppose us are, what was it? Inactive? Inaction is complicity? They are complicit with all of it? Yeah. This was the Cory Booker of old, and that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below, and I will see you at the next segment tonight. We break this down even further, and I look forward to spending some time with you then.